Welcome everyone, I'm your OG, Original Gamer, and this is a Godforge video. In today's spotlight, we're going to get up close and personal with your OG and travel back in time to experience the Push for Likes social media campaign that built a 30,000 person online community. We're going to meet Cerberus from the Olympus faction, and finally, we're going to finish the video with some powerful insights into how you can accelerate your account progression by becoming a Pantheon or clan recruiting beast. What we will share later in this video will help you if you want to build and promote your own clan, or if you want to gain acceptance to the top clans in the game. We're going to explore the viability of a Godforge player council to organize and advocate for gamer rights and interests. You will not want to miss a minute of this deep dive. So like the video if it strikes you as useful, subscribe to connect with us, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss any of the daily information we put forth. Without further ado, we're going back in time to before TikTok or Instagram or even Twitter, can you imagine, to step into the boots of your OG. Your dust-covered boots shuffle forward along what I guess you can call a road. You shift the weight of your flak jacket from shoulder to shoulder in an effort to get momentary relief from the ceramic plates that stand between you and not you. In this environment, you have 100 days of wind during the summer months where temperatures routinely exceed 125 degrees Fahrenheit or 52 degrees Celsius, and the wind blows on you like a hair dryer all day long. You don't go anywhere without at least 50 pounds of equipment on you. Okay, well, maybe that doesn't apply to the shower tents, but you're only going to want to visit those after a good hard run because the water is ice cold that gets pumped out of those 10,000 gallon rubber bladders sitting behind the shower tent. As you look around your battlefield, your enemy looks just like everyone else you've seen. The only one that does not look like the others is you. You've been dropped into a brand new world, and you have to rapidly establish a baseline. Or you may find yourself in a de-atomized state that Marines commonly refer to as pink mist. Boom goes the dynamite. Your OG always watches where he steps, because a culvert full of HME, homemade explosives, it throws a 30-ton vehicle like a matchbox car. Just be happy you're not that upgunner, the guy standing in the turret, because there isn't much he can do but hold on. Some challenges we faced were less intense, such as unreliable and spotty Wi-Fi while trying to upload video files from a base overseas. There was the OPSEC, or Operational Security Tightrope Walk, with what I could and could not show in my videos. And then there is finding accessible places to film without being interrupted or, hit with a rocket. I apologize in advance for the No Shave November mustache challenge was going on at the same time as these videos that I'm going to show you. So I apologize in advance for that, and I apologize the way that my upper lip is likely to make you feel. But I was young and reckless, and the Marine Corps regs require that a mustache, which is the only acceptable facial hair, be 1/8 of an inch above the lip, stop at the corners of the mouth, and be trimmed and professional. Try making anything look good with those restrictions. So coming next is a string of my first 4 YouTube videos I ever created, Sadly, the rest were lost, but I did salvage these ones and strung them together for you to see how your OG kicked off his channel or his content creation back in 2012. All right, so I was able to salvage 4 videos from the alt country, and unfortunately, I didn't get more of them. I had probably 10 or 20 of these videos from back in 2012. This is when your OG made his first attempts into content creation. I was in the Marine Corps. I was deployed to Afghanistan in 2012, and I was working with a nonprofit called Green Collar Vets, and I was their volunteer marketing director. And I started a campaign called Push for Likes, and you'll hear about it in the video, so I won't ruin too much of it. But I'm just going to link these 4 videos together here so you can see sort of the progression of this and get a feel for what your OG looked like before I was too OG, before I was as old as I am. So here we go.
Greetings from Helmand Province, Afghanistan. I'm your One Green Marine, and I'm here to wish you a happy Veterans Day and a happy Marine Corps birthday. For those of you that have been following my blog, onegreenmarine.wordpress.com, you've been seeing the pictures and reading the stories as I transition in my last year of active duty service into a green and sustainable job search and career. One of the key advisors and helpers I've had along the way is an organization called Green Collar Vets. It's a nonprofit organization, and they help to transition veterans into green technology and clean technology jobs and careers. My support for them in return for their support of me is something that I'll be launching here come Veterans Day, and you'll be watching this on Veterans Day most likely. I will be doing a campaign called Push for Likes. Our Facebook page, facebook.com/greencollarvets, is something we're really looking to use to develop a community of followers, supporters, veterans, employers, and educators, bringing together all the pieces we need to solve the issues that veterans face as they transition from the active duty services. So the Push for Likes campaign is simple. I'll be doing 1 push-up for every 10 likes that page gets. I hope that you'll have my arms falling off with all of the likes and support that we'll see over the next couple weeks. So every week I'll post another video of me pushing it out in support of Green Collar Vets. So I ask that you go to the page, again, facebook.com/greencollarvets. Hit that like button. That's all you got to do to support. And if you feel compelled to, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your coworkers, tell people you know about what we're doing and how we're helping veterans transition into a more sustainable career as they exit the military. Thank you for your support. Have a great Veterans Day, great Marine Corps birthday, and I'll talk to you all soon. Good morning, and welcome from Helmand Province, Afghanistan. This is your One Green Marine. Just coming back to you again for a weekly update.
Oh my God, that mustache. It was No Shave November Mustache Challenge. That being said,
give you a heads up on how things are going out here, and also to update you on our Push for Likes campaign. Those of you that follow my blog at onegreenmarine.wordpress.com, you'll know that I'm in my last year of active duty service. I'm also deployed to Afghanistan. I'm giving you a chance to kind of walk in hand as I go through this process. As I transition out, I was looking for organizations that support veterans. One of the key organizations, one of the great organizations I found was one called Green Collar Vets, and they help veterans transition into green and clean tech and sustainable careers after their time in the service. I really enjoyed what the organization was doing, and I wanted to help. So while deployed out here, I put together a very small campaign, just a little something I could do, and every 10 likes that the Facebook page gets for Green Collar Vets, I do a push-up. Seems simple enough to me, and after our first week, we managed to get 98 likes, new likes to the website, to the fan page, and it's a slow start, but it's a good start. A lot of people came out, they showed their support, they were really helpful and really enthusiastic about making sure that this community of supporters, educators, employers, and veterans grew. this week. So we really appreciate that. We want to thank everyone that came out and helped us. And we also want to thank our fan of the week, Miss Ava, who threw up a great picture on our fan page, and really did a good job of helping us request people to come and like our page. So we want to thank them. We also want to thank the Body Shield for supporting us. These are actually workout towels that go over the bench, and great product, sustainable in nature. This is made entirely of pine, of wood, actually, recycled wood, and really interesting design. And we want to thank them for sending this out and supporting us in our efforts. So without further ado, 98 likes is 9.8 push-ups for me. I'll do 10 because I like you guys. And so here we go. One, two, three. This is what you asked for. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The question you gotta ask yourself is, how many takes did this take me? Because 10 push-ups, maybe I did it more than once, who knows. Anyways, I just want to thank you guys for your support, and keep working hard, keep growing this community, this fan page. More likes, more times I'm face down in the dirt. Thanks again. I'll talk to you soon. Good morning and greetings from Helmand Province, Afghanistan. I'm your One Green Marine. Good morning. It's your One Green Marine coming back to you for the weekly update for Green Collar Vets Push for Likes campaign. We had a great week this week. Obviously, it was Thanksgiving, and I hope that you and your family and friends had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I hope you got some food, family, and some football. I know we did out here, some great food. They take care of us really well. We watched some football, and actually played some flag football out here, some pretty competitive flag football within our unit. And obviously we're all together enjoying the holiday. So as we move through the holiday, we had a great week. More likes than we did the week before, which is always good. It means you guys are out there promoting us, helping us expand what we're doing, raise awareness. We really appreciate that. So this week we came out with 249 likes. For me, that's 25 push-ups, and here we go. Also, we're coming to you this week from inside 24-hour fitness here, Camp Leatherneck. This is where fitness happens, and it's open 24 hours a day. So, without further ado, 25. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. Appreciate all your work and helping us promote this great cause, Green Collar Vets. Check out my blog, onegreenmarine.wordpress.com, and read about the health and fitness fair we had out here, which featured a bench press and someone, not me, doing 465 pounds. Great stuff. Talk to you next week. Have a good one. Good morning. Welcome back from Helmand, Afghanistan. This is your high-speed,
Oh, thank God, the mustache is gone.
low-drag, slightly more aerodynamic One Green Marine. Starting December, that means the November no-shave mustache challenge is over, and I can go back to being a little less creepy. I don't miss it. I just want to thank everyone this week, even better than last week, for likes on the fan page for Green Collar Vets. This week we pulled in 333 likes, even more than last week where we had close to 240. Just really want to thank all of you guys for your support, spreading the word, and increasing the likes for the page so we can get people aware of veterans and their need for help as they transition out of the military and are looking for sustainable careers after their military career. So really want to thank everyone for all your hard work and forcing me to push a little bit more. And as we get into the holiday season and get closer to Christmas, I just want to put out there that there's a lot of charities, a lot of nonprofits, a lot of organizations you can help. We understand that completely. But if you swing by www.greencollarvets.org, you can donate to this organization to help us as we further our work with veterans transition, redevelopment, and redeployment programs to help them transition into green jobs post their military careers. So we really appreciate it. We know you have a lot of options around the holidays to donate, and we hope that you choose us. So without further ado, 33 push-ups. Tweaked my shoulder a little bit this week in the gym. Wasn't sure I was going to be able to do it, but I rubbed sufficient amounts of dirt on it, and I think we should be good. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 2, and 33. Again, I want to thank all of you guys for your help and your support, spreading the word for us. I really appreciate it. And we'll see you next week with hopefully closer to 50. Whew. I'm going to have to work out a little bit more to be able to do that much, but I hope you'll make me do it. All right, thanks. Talk to you guys soon.
All right, so now we're going to switch to something very different. We are going to tell the quick story of the pack, a puppy story. This dives a little bit more into Euro G and how I got here, and why I have Cerberus with me, my three-headed puppy, and all of that. I'm just going to tell that story real quick here via slides and some pictures. So let's get right into that. This is the pack, a puppy story. So in the beginning, the world was dark and gloomy. So naturally, I submitted my application picture you see here to the Asgard faction governing body for approval. Now, I was initially denied for having a whole flock of birds living in my beard, but then from the heavens came a savior. She stepped out of the shadows, she made me one of her pack, she lifted me from nothingness to the pinnacle of performance. Now what hero could possibly have done that? The Shadow, that's right, my little blue nose, a Staffordshire Terrier here who was initially named Skyla, as you can see. She was a female in Oceanside, California. I was living in San Diego. I picked up Little Miss Shadow. Her original name was Skyla, but if you notice in some of the pictures, she never ever left my side, even when I was using the bathroom. So she got the name Shadow because she was literally like my shadow. She was always there when I'd look down or look back. So Shadow and I have been very close for a number of years now, and she is my emotional support animal and helps me tremendously with my PTSD. So this was the beginning of the pack forming. And then the pack grew. So then we got this little belly with legs. And this little belly with legs came to us from Tijuana, Mexico. So I actually went down to the border and I picked up little Puppy. And we didn't have a name for him right away, but he was a strong little guy. Even though Shadow was 2 months older than him and she was much bigger, she could like wrestle him and beat him up. He wouldn't back down. He was really going to just hold his own. If it meant a bone or food, he was a belly. You could see there he loved to eat. So he was a great addition to our pack. And we will show, his name is Samson, but we call him Sammy Samerson. He is our just our ham. He's like, if I had to describe Shadow and Sammy and I, like, Sammy is the ambassador. Shadow is like your secret service. Like, she doesn't let anyone near anywhere. She's like nervous about everyone. And then I am like their chef and chauffeur. That's how that works. But Sammy is super friendly, goes, running up to people, wiggling his butt like crazy. So happy to see him. He smiles if you give him kisses or whatever. He is just the cutest puppy you could possibly imagine. Bonds are forged, cuddles happen, we hang in there despite being, kind of very much just trying to build from the ground up. Life was not easy. right? We were homeless. We did manage to get a trailer that I pulled behind my truck, but didn't have heat at night and things. So we were, this picture of me and Sammy were keeping warm. And the other big thing is these dogs are absolutely amazing, but they love to chew and they have very, very strong jaws. So you can see Shadow here did some work on this tire toy. That was only probably about 20 or 30 minutes of work she put into it. I used to do a little funny segment on what do you think this was, and I would show you after the fact. And then let you guess what was this thing before they got to it. I had, because I was homeless, I had to leave them in the truck sometimes to go into the grocery store to buy stuff, or to go to errands or do meetings or anything like that. And obviously I didn't want to leave them in a motel room and have them destroy the motel room. I couldn't afford that, so a lot of times I'd bring them with me, and then I'd have to leave them for a little bit of time in the truck. So they started to work over the truck a little bit. To the right, you can see the end of their work. Now, most people are like, that's insane, I would never get a dog. And now, we were in a unique position, okay? They had to spend a lot of time in the truck and stuff, gave them unsupervised time to go to work on the padding and the stuffing in the seats. And I'll get these replaced at a point here in the future. But honestly, right now, it works as like the greatest deterrent for car theft possible. Like, somebody walks up to this truck and looks inside, like, I'm going to pass. I'll look for an easier one to take. That guy looks a little crazy. So life was not easy, but the pack stuck together. You can see Sammy there sticking to my shoulder. I don't know how he thought that was comfortable, but he did. So he's funny. This is him and Shadow hanging out. They're fully grown, obviously, now. And then on the right, they're playing and being goobers. They're very silly, very funny creatures. All right, so we're embarking on adventure. You see in the upper right there, that was our trailer and our truck. We are home there with my palm tree out in front and my welcome mat. This was like just off the highway, the Highway 15 in California. It was like an abandoned lot that I found and lived in off and on for months while I was trying to stabilize and get housing. But then I moved back across the country all the way to Massachusetts. And before leaving, of course, I had to shave the hippie beard and the hippie long hair that I had been growing out. You can see I got kind of halfway through there and thought it'd be funny to take a picture. Very creepy. But as you can see in the picture below with my my Asgard, Russian hat there, that was 10 minutes after I finished shaving. The beard just pops right back out. I can't do anything about that. But we left our little gravel lot, and I left, as you can see there, I used to do some stone. I would stack rocks and balance them, and so I left a stone stack there sort of as my signature when I left and embarked across the country. So all exciting. We're gonna have a new start. We're gonna have a place to live. Everything is looking up. Boom goes the dynamite. So I put this out. This is doing two things. One, I'm introducing you to the Instagram account that I have been contributing to for several years now. While I was homeless, I would write poetry and things like that to help me with my mental health. And so I would post it to Instagram under the name EC Crossman. That was my pen name. So this was the post I put out on the 2 weeks we were taking the trip across the country. Silence is divine, but so is telling the rest of the story for Eternal. Eternal is a book I'm writing. It's a modernization, a rewrite of Dante's Inferno. So unfortunately, our trip flipped our trailer and sent a monitor into cardiac failure. We'll need another week to write the next part. Waiting for Christina, she's our protagonist, to finally ascend and depart from the stasis that this chaos has created to feed the hungry readers until they're satiated. Sorry for the delay. So this introduced you to my writing and my poetry. I figured this would be a good place to just mention it. If you are interested and you want to go to Instagram and you want to look up UC Crossman, I have hundreds of posts, but this is just a small sampling here of just my regular poetry, or what I used to call baby poems. They're sort of like little short snips. This one actually did pretty well. Just a problem without a solution. Mass manufacturing without distribution. This one did pretty well. This one did pretty well on Instagram. This one did pretty well in the So Sure, all as well as the originality. Please don't bend too far from me. I like you best wearing your originality. A little lean is all we need. Our love is as tight as the sprout to the seed. So I'm a Hallmark card writer as well on the side, moonlighting. But this is my poetry. If you're interested in that sort of business, go check it out. Follow me. I lost a lot of my followers because I haven't been posting near as much. I'm only focusing on the rewrite on the Eternal book. I'm not writing and posting near as much of these sort of just one-off poems that I used to. So this is the modernization of Dante's Inferno. The book is called Eternal. Every canto, because in Dante's Inferno they have cantos, not chapters. Every canto matches Dante's canto in the book, which means I reference the same locations in that canto. I keep it my canto is the exact same length as Dante's canto, so the shape and size of the book is exactly the same. It's kind of a book within a book. I'm rewriting Dante's Inferno with a more modern look. So these are some teasers. These are the sort of teasers I put out to Instagram to help drive traffic to it. But you can definitely check this out. I'll read one here for you. I won't read them all, but this feels like the point of no return. Yet concern eludes me. I lack the attitude to anoint the lamb dude posthumously. As master and commander of the right side of the throne, a story like a glass house not holding up as rocks are thrown. I better go back and recite this more anonymously, given how the anomaly is treated in every historical homily. I'd hate to enrage the hunger that no flesh can satiate. Looks like it's never too late for a refreshing Bloody Mary as I backstroke toward the shark cage. It's pretty intense. I'm not gonna lie. It's a relook at religion and Dante's sort of fear-based projections of going to hell for all the things you could do. More confusing than a quadruple amputee slated for crucifixion, as the executioner wrangles with the contradiction of his sworn duty and the beauty of the basic staring back. A lack of limbs left for hanging out his six-pack. I need to reclaim my first love, the untamed fervor that rose above a problem's pity, the witty female mind willing to get gritty in the sand and classy in the brand. So this is just a taste. Man, I get all worked up when I write. Love starts to bend you beyond the boundaries of your belief, a certain recipe for grief as the heartbreaker ranks as the world's worst thief. I love writing. I love poetry. It's a big part of my art that I express, and it's a big piece of my journey. So anyways, we'll move on. Oh, I'm sorry. I did have one last left with a few more. But anywho's, I call out Darwin, Luther Marx, a bunch of other folks. Check it out, EC Crossman on Instagram if you want to learn more. Okay, so we are now traveling across the country, and what? We're having puppies? I find out as I get to Massachusetts from California that Shadow is pregnant. Sammy, apparently they got married. He had his tux on. I didn't even notice. I think I officiated it or whatever, but they are having puppies. So here's our doggy family tree. You can see Grandpa and Grandma, Mom and Dad for Sammy on the left side there. You can see Mom and Dad for Shadow on the right side. You can see their story, where they come from, their stats and facts, and their things like that. This is the beginning and forming of our pack. So now we got puppies. Oh, kittens are okay too. This was not from the same time frame, but I did in previous instances in my life. I had kittens one time. This is Cleocatra, the white kitten, white cat, and she had kittens. So kittens are okay too. I'm not just a dog person. But yes, puppies came at 3 a.m. on St. Patty's Day. So we had 15 puppies born. Unfortunately, one was born stillborn, so it did not make it. Another was a real runt. I was bottle feeding it for like 24 hours, but it didn't make it. And then another one passed away about a week later. Very weird, very suddenly, kind of overnight. So we wound up with 12 puppies, which is actually the average. They say that you'll lose like 1 puppy for every 5. And 15 is a huge litter. So we had 12 puppies. This is where the game began. I spent my time trying to figure out how to corral and keep these puppies, these little balls of curious energy, in one place. So you can see the first iteration of the game, I used this sort of like swimming pool style thing. Actually, the first iteration was I built like a a birthing box out of wood myself, but it quickly was too small. So this was sort of the next iteration as the puppies were only a few weeks old. And then they were able to get out of this very easily. So then I had to put the next fence up around it. It was just an ongoing game. Then it got even more. There was like cardboard because they were able to climb out over this. They were climbing up the sides of the, up the sides of the fencing there. But they did snuggle. They were cute. They did like to just tromp through their food and make a huge mess. But then the game got serious. I don't know if this is we liked the food you gave us in this food bowl, so we gave you a tip, or not. But then whoever the poop bandit was started to strike everyone. Oh my word. That is terrible. And the roles were reversed. Shadow is a lover of running through the forest, chasing critters, being a wild puppy. She's not as much of a mother puppy type, and she didn't exactly love the idea of being a mom. She was kind of like, wait, why do these brats want to eat again? I fed them once. Isn't that enough? Can't they go hunt now? So she was not the most spectacular mom. Sammy, on the other hand, stepped in as like the mom for all the puppies. I'll show you a little bit at the end here, but he got introduced. He was so cute. He acted like a helicopter dad or just this mom that loved the puppies. So we were adding to the pack, and this is Gunner here, this little blue nose that's cuddled with Sammy, and this little guy chose me. You can see him in the middle here. He's in my arms. He would come and try to and want to come up with me and lay with me all the time, and none of the other puppies did. None of the other puppies wanted to like come up and be with me that much. So I decided I had to keep the little guy. So Gunner became the next addition to the pack. As you can see, he's picking up where Sammy leaves off, literally speaking, from the rear. And we now added Gunner to the pack. So the rest of the puppies, though, we had to find the right homes for them. My brother got one. Blanca here went up to Saskatchewan, Canada with Blaze. Blaze is actually on the Canadian flyball team. He's an Australian cattle dog and is extremely fast. So Blanca wound up going out to Saskatchewan, Canada, and this is her today with a tutu on. I feel like I should go rescue her. We had a lady here. She was the aunt of one of the guys that adopted a puppy, and she was really sick, and the puppy was a huge help to her in her last months. You can see the cuddles, the snuggles. These puppies love to be affectionate and emotionally supportive. They're very sweet and very beautiful puppies. So we worked on finding all of them the right homes, and then we were left with just these four amigos, right? My little yin yang here, the blue nose tan yin yang, Shadow, Sammy, and Gunner. That's what we were left with. Why? Well, these are the emotional support tools that help me tremendously. You can see this picture here. This is like my Cerberus picture where all three of them, that three-headed dog, they cuddle me, they're cute, they love you, you wake you up with kisses, you feel great. It's a good thing. So, and and when you're feeling like just disappearing inside your hoodie, they'll give you love. So that's a big piece to why I have them. All right, so we're gonna wrap that up and move to the next part. All right, well, we're just gonna show you a couple quick short videos.
Sammy, are you feeding the puppies? What are you trying to do? You being mama? Oh, you say it's not working though. Well, they keep following you. They want to know what you got for them. Aw, they're giving you kisses and playing with you. Oh, go give that one kisses. Good boy. Be gentle. There you go. Hi, little one.
Hey.
Hey,
Hey.
how are you?
You chewing on me?
Oh, no.
You chewing on me?
How's your hoodie?
Blanca, what do you got on, mama? You got a sweatshirt? Hey, leave her alone. Leave her alone. She's trying to get out of her sweatshirt. Hey, you can't pull it over her head like hockey style. That's not fair. Look at this. Look at this stuff. Shenanigans. They're teaming up on her because she's got a sweatshirt on. Oh, my. Blanca, you like the sweatshirt? Probably not. It kind of led to your defeat.
All right, so you have been to combat, you have seen cute puppies, and now what is all this? We got to make sense of it all, right? So, obviously my pups feed off my energy. If I'm very high energy, it can easily spin them up. But I have a range of symptoms that I've learned about as I've mapped my own individual PTSD. And those range from agoraphobia and severe anxiety to dissociation and memory loss and sleep disruption. I have mentioned in a previous video hypervigilance and struggles with that and what I did to kind of work through that and help that. But when a trigger hits, when you have PTSD and a trigger hits, it's like the IED you saw at the beginning. I have to wait for the dust to settle. I have to realize and understand that this isn't real. It's just my brain thinking I'm in a real situation and bringing me back to that past memory and forcing me to stay in that loop. I have to realize, the world isn't ending. And then I have to dissipate all that pent up energy that my amygdala uses to like sear those memories with white hot emotional importance before launching them into my long term storage for random revisits, whenever that feels like popping up. So I have to do my best to dissipate that energy so that it isn't trapped and then suppressed into my subconscious and causing more problems. So I say that to say this: how do I use games? I obviously use the puppies to help treat my mental health. How do I use games to help treat my mental health? How do I see games as more than just a game? So I use Call of Duty for my PTSD, cognitive behavioral therapy, cognitive behavioral development desensitization treatment. So like when you're in CBD treatment for PTSD, you identify your triggers and then you work to desensitize yourself on different triggers. Now the key is to doing that in a safe environment. So the traumatic event happened in an unsafe way. You felt unsafe and that was why it was traumatic. But if you can have a safe environment and then be triggered and know and teach yourself, okay, see, it's not an alarm, like it's a false alarm, kind of teaching yourself that. So I use Call of Duty for that purpose. Now I don't play Call of Duty to be the number one person on the rankings or whatever. I'm pretty solid, I would say. Like I'm a pretty solid player. You wouldn't kick me off your team, I bet, but I'm nowhere near some of the folks I've seen, that are like magical or something. I don't even know. They run around the map and no one can touch them and they shoot everyone from a million miles away. And I know there's other issues. There's things that go on in Call of Duty that involve bot aiming and all kinds of other stuff. But for folks that are legitimately doing it, there are some really good players. I consider myself a solid player who is more endurance based. Like I will outlast you with my consistency. I already finished for Black Ops 6 all of the prestiges. I'm into the prestige master now, the next 1,000 levels or whatever it is. So all of my guns are ranked up, and maxed out. They're not all like, I don't have skins for every single one of them. That's what I'm doing now, is getting my platinum skins for every one of my guns. But I consider that a skill, is that I can go into any game mode with any gun and I won't get smoked because I practice a lot at playing very well-rounded style. But I use Call of Duty to help me desensitize myself, because the explosions, the bullets firing at you, the idea that somebody wants to kill you all the time, all of these things are very triggering for my PTSD. So I use that on purpose to trigger myself while in a safe space. It's also a beta game experience for me. So it gets me in that beta mindset, that rhythm-based combat. Secondly, I play Candy Crush for the pattern recognition and the complex problem solving. This is one where I get deeply immersive in it. I feel lost in the game and I'm playing more with like intuition sometimes than logic. This is good for someone like me who is a systems architect by day and is very logic focused and is doing programming and automations and things like that. So I'm only trying to be a savvy game reporter by night, but it's good for me to add more intuition strengtheners, because that balances against all of the logic strengtheners that are already in place all throughout the day. I can't wait to play Godforge because it provides, and this provides optimism, hope, forward thinking. So that balances my day to day and my moment to moment focus, and it optimizes, any particular activity I'm doing to the fullest possible level because I'm excited about the future and I'm focused on the now at the same time. So it's all about knowing your balances and just adding a few more pounds to the underdog side so that it's not quite so imbalanced. All right, so this is why you're here, okay? To learn about clans, to learn about pantheons, and to become a pantheon master. So, how many of you think that the clan that you are in Raid Shadow Legends, let's say, matters to the speed of your account progression? I'm sure you're going to say probably yes, okay? What do we know about clans and pantheons at this point in Godforge? What do we know that'll help us with command and control, business intelligence, and efficiency? We're going to get into that real quick. We aren't going to go super, super deep on everything because the video would be too long, but we are going to go fast and furious. So my recommendation, pause the videos if you need to, rewatch them several times, capture different pieces. There's just a lot poured in. All right, here we go. There is two different pieces to being a Pantheon beast that you're going to need to focus on. We're going to touch on one today in this video, and we'll do a follow-on video with the other. The first is Pantheon building. That is marketing, recruiting, and onboarding folks into your Pantheon or clan. Why is this important? Well, if you are a high-end player and you want to have the best clan in the game, you have to attract the best clan members. So we're going to talk about that today. The other piece is Pantheon management. This is more project management focused, and it's about watching your flows of information and processes, projecting for what you need ahead of it in a schedule. Anyways, we're going to go into that in a future video. These are two different focuses, abilities, and processes. You can't put these two things together in the same bucket and just assume they are one and the same. So that's the first distinction. Second, the way to, like, the secret sauce, you need to be able to see your organization. You need to have it mapped out and to be able to look at it from a 30,000 foot view and see your organization just like you would see the progress of your content in a campaign sequence. You have to know what's in front of you and what's behind you. You have to know how things flow through your company. You have to be able to visualize it and see it. Very, very few people have a mind mapped or a visual mapping of their company. But that's something that I've been doing for years now. So we'll be focusing on the first part, Pantheon and clan building today, and we'll get into Pantheon management in the future. If it matters the quality of the clan that you are in, which I do think it does, how do you get into the best clan you can if you create your own? How do you do this quickly and effectively so you attract a specific type of clan member that best fits with your expectations of clan members' participation, your experience level, your goals? All of this can feel like it's a kind of a crapshoot and you wind up just taking what you get. Well, this can work for you also if you're just a solo player, this advice. And all you're trying to do is maybe join a top clan. You don't want to run the clan and everything like that, but you want to get into a top clan, okay? So picture your account as though it is your business brand, even though it's just you personally, and apply all these same tips, tricks, and strategies as though it was your company and not just your personal gameplay, okay? So who do you want to attract to your Pantheon? That's a big question. You have to know your ideal clanmate, or I'm calling it a Pantheon pal. What is that ideal clanmate like? You have to define that before you can go out and go find folks that fit that, right? It makes sense. What is your Pantheon's brand personality if it were, say, an avatar? Okay, because in gaming, that's very easy for us to understand. For folks in regular business, I help them build avatars for their brands so that they can better visualize their brand, and also see it as separate from themselves personally. But regardless, in gaming, it's not as big of a deal because we all have avatars. We're used to this. We understand that. So if you think of your brand like an avatar, it is separate from you. It represents things that maybe you don't always represent. Like you might represent some of what the brand does because you're aligned with it, but you're not. It's not you. Okay, So you can't be everything to everyone. Simon said this in one of his videos, and I thought it was really well said. So what is your niche? What is your lane? What is your unique selling point? This is what you got to figure out after you are starting to shape what is your Pantheon's personality, brand personality. That will determine who's going to be attracted to that and who's not going to be attracted to that. So you have to really be honest with yourself. And the secret sauce to all of this is knowing thyself, right? Know your authentic self. Who are you? What do you like? What do you not like? If you haven't really ventured into that and you don't really explore and question yourself, then you're going to have to start doing that to give yourself the answers to go forward. But here's my prompting. Are you a high-end player going for the top of the leaderboard? Of course, you're going to want other high-end players looking to go for the top of the leaderboard. You're not going to want to have a clan full of people who are like, we're casual, this is just a good time, we all have fun. That's going to make it really frustrating for you, okay? So, or are you a progressing player? Someone who just enjoys picking up the game a bit after work, but you're not trying to have another job or, you know, a second career. So you got to know where you fall. Or maybe you're just a gamer who likes sampling many different games all the time and you jump in and out of whatever feels fun and you're not really committed or stuck to any one game and that's how you play. Hey, no judgment here, but just know yourself and then figure out what's the easiest to match yourself. Sorry, let me start over. It is easiest to match yourself to your brand and like build your brand based off what you know already, rather than trying to be this like really good actor and saying like, well, I want my brand to be super cool, but I'm not super cool, so I'm not going to be on brand because I that's not me. You have to just understand, who am I, what brand personality can I actually consistently deliver, and it's the one that's authentic for you, because trying to fake it is just faking it till you're making it. That was like a big saying when I was growing up. It doesn't work so well in branding. People feel the inauthenticity and they don't even know why they say no. They just don't say yes. So, anywho's, we are going to move to the next part. How does one craft a brand's personality? Well, probably not much differently than crafting a character for a game like Godforge, right? So, stepping outside the game for a second, I've actually developed a unique process for doing this, okay? So within a single hour, I take you through a guided strategy and branding session. It fleshes out your priorities, your unique selling point. It defines your distinctions, and it builds the core personality traits for your brand avatar. So once you know your Pantheon's brand personality, it becomes intuitive and simple to find other like-minded folks who want to play the way you do. Now, how do you get the most out of your clan's activity? That's a bit more of a well-rounded approach. Like maybe you don't want all of one type of clan members. You want some that do this role, some that do that role. I think that would probably, like if I had to build my clan, I'm not just going to want all, this type of player. I want to have a few of each because it gives the clan more strength. So anyways, you'll have fewer friction points between clan mates if you do this, because they will all come in with an expectation that matches the experience that you are providing or you're looking for. So it saves you a lot of headaches in clan management down the road. So this is why we're starting here. So what does my Pantheon avatar look like, right? I can't tell you crap without, walking the walk, right? So I am Finnish and Swedish in my ancestry. And this is one of the reasons that Norse and Asgard, it was kind of a no-brainer for me. My late grandmother still has family in like Sweden and Finland. So the symbol you see actually on the Asgard faction banner, 2 intersecting arrows. I love that. It represents how opposing forces are required to generate energy. Like there's no way to generate energy unless you have two forces opposing each other. So it's almost as though chaos and order have to be there. Like order couldn't beat chaos or chaos couldn't beat order, because both are required. Very yin and yang. So that I like that thing. I don't know that I'll make Asgard like a big part of my my Pantheon, but that's just giving you me, like why I like it. So like a Latin saying I found for my Pantheon that could be cool if I really go with like just the Asgard theme. It's Uske ad Ragnarok, and it means until the end, until Ragnarok. So like we fight till the end. So your OG, your optimized game and optimized gaming is all about helping gamers play smarter. So this right here, I'm gonna read through to you. It is the core brand traits and personality framework for my brand so that you can see what the end result is. I'm not going to take you through the full hour process and all that sort of business because it's just too much for this video, but I will read you through real quickly what Optimized Gaming what I produced for my brand identity or my brand personality for Optimized Gaming. So I'm literally like pulling back the the Wizard of Oz curtain here and letting you see how things work and why I'm doing certain things I'm doing. So this is the core brand traits and personality framework for Optimized Gaming. Okay, my three key words, like focus words: innovative, community, and empowerment. So we'll get into that. We'll flesh that out. But innovative, community, and empowerment. Those are my three big words. Vision. So the first sort of focus, visionary innovator. So my projected trait, forward thinking, tech savvy, relentlessly curious. Optimized Gaming positions itself as a pioneer in gaming experiences, blending the cutting edge technology of AI driven mechanics and immersive world building with player centric design. What is the customer experience that produces? Players or followers or viewers perceive my brand as a trailblazer, offering fresh, boundary-pushing gameplay insights that feels ahead of industry trends. Interactions invoke excitement and anticipation for what's going to be revealed next. Okay, let me know in the comments below if that's not the way my videos are coming across to you, because that's what the brand is built to do, and that is what I have spent all the time on the marketing strategy and going through all this. So that is the first piece of it, right? So visionary innovator. Second piece to my brand's personality: empowering competitor. Projected traits are confident, achievement-oriented, growth-focused. The brand encourages players to embrace challenges, celebrate milestones, and compete in fair yet thrilling environments. How does that impact the customer experience? My viewers and gamers feel motivated to improve their skills with in-game rewards, success on leaderboards, and personalized progress tracking, so that reinforces the sense of accomplishment that helps build self-esteem for them. Okay, that's empowering competitor. That's the second piece to my OG's brand personality. Third, inclusive community architect. So the projective traits: welcoming, collaborative, and socially conscious. Optimized Gaming prioritizes diversity in characters, storylines, and player interactions, fostering safe spaces for all identities. How does that impact the customer experience? Players feel a sense of belonging through the Pantheon, where they can be given nicknames or medals for being the best at a certain game mode or a very niche component, through shared accomplishments or masteries, cross-platform events, weekly highlight reels showing a report of their progress on their account for the past week in several key areas and like areas they can improve in. So giving them assistance and help, being there with them. Now, I'm going to pause, time out real quick, and jump to the first ever OG peek and a sneak. This is when we are just giving you a little peek, or a sneak and a peek. We're peeking a sneak is how I'm calling it. So this is an idea in the military we used to call these gobies, good general officer bright ideas. They came down to you from a general somewhere who thought it up. This is what it feels like, but I don't know. Let me know what you think. Maybe it does have some traction. Maybe there's some interest in this. So I'm thinking about starting and helping to get established a Godforge player council, so GPC. It would be a rotating council of 12 active gamers from Godforge. Active meaning they logged in within the last 7 days. So maybe it's like a 4-4-4 setup. There's like 4 competitive players, there's 4 casual players, and maybe like 4 like niche specialty players that only like playing like arena or certain things like that. These 12 folks will be, they'll be voted on. They'll get into they'll be on the council for a period of time, whatever, a year maybe, or 6 months, or whatever long it makes sense for them to be on there. And while they're there, they'll make decisions based on the analytics and segmentation research, and they'll act on the best interest and on behalf of gamers, and sort of like, not like a union, but just sort of like, I'm thinking Model UN meets Breakfast Club, so that probably is more confusing. But anyways, there's your first peek and a sneak. Back to the deep dive. Reliable guardian. Okay, that's my fourth component to my brand's personality. Reliable guardian. The projected traits that that the brand wants to project, right? Not me per se, but the brand. Trustworthy, transparent, and ethical. The brand enforces fair monetization policies and visibility, data privacy, as well as anti-toxicity measures so that players are able to feel safe in the game and not be bullied. How does that impact customer experience? Trust is built through clear communication about updates, patches, anti-cheat systems, and responsive customer support. All things that just reduce friction and frustration in the gaming experience. So that's the fourth one, reliable guardian. Lastly, my fifth component to my personality is a playful ally. Projected trait, lighthearted, humorous, and approachable. Optimized gaming balances high-stakes gameplay with whimsical Easter eggs, meme-worthy NPCs, and seasonal events. How does this impact the customer experience? Players associate the brand with joy and nostalgia, often sharing user-generated content that amplifies community bonds while still being serious enough to break down complex, developer rationale for nerfs or character breakdowns. And we're looking at, for nerfs and patches, I'm looking at a segment I want to start called Dev Diaries. So we'll get into that as we get closer to the alpha. So those are our five. The fifth one being playful ally. So those are our five components of the brand Optimized Gaming. Visionary innovator, empowering competitor, inclusive community architect, reliable guardian, and playful ally. The brand's voice and tone. Primary voice needs to be an energetic mentor, encouraging but authoritative, using aspirational language and actionable tips. The secondary tone is a witty collaborator, humorous in social media posts, patch notes, and live streams, using gaming slang and pop culture references to resonate with gamers. What should you avoid? Overly corporate jargon, condescending tutorials, and valueless babble. Next, typography. Like what fonts should you be using in this kind of a brand? Headlines should be bold, angular, sans serif fonts for a dynamic tech-forward feel. The body text should be clean, rounded fonts for readability in guides and FAQs. Iconography, okay, like shapes that you'd use. Abstract geometric shapes merged with gaming motifs can work. Modification of a game's logo to produce channel's logo that is smaller, but essential part of the game experience. If you notice, OG is pulled out of Godforge. It makes OG integral to Godforge. You can't have Godforge without OG and OG without Godforge. So it's starting to build an understanding and a relationship that these two things are interwoven. So, we got a lot to go through. I apologize. We are going to dive so deep that some of you might pass out and I might have to, swim you back to the surface. But it's okay. Your OG's got you. Community interaction strategy for optimized gaming. We are pulling back the Komodo right now. Player created content. So share me, creating content, progressing through the game, facing new challenges, whether I fail or succeed, experiencing new game modes and areas, and providing a viewpoint of someone who might be as likely to be making the game as much as they're playing it. That's the idea. No, that's number one. Number two, transparency initiatives. So I talked about Dev Diaries, which would be like a weekly, bi-weekly behind-the-scenes YouTube video on bug fixes and brainstorming for bug fixes and quality of life. Roadmap polls, letting players vote on upcoming content like new maps or character classes, as well as like exit surveys post-event. How did you like this event? Stuff like that. Did you think it went well? What could have been done better? We want to create a continuous learning environment. Financial transparency breakdown. So we want to convert in-game spend to real-world money and provide best buys and value. That segment is going to be called OG Spends. So we'll get into that. Obviously, we're not there yet. And as I mentioned earlier, the creation of the Godforge Player Council is something I'm looking into. So you'd initially be voted upon and get into this council, be on this council, and serve on this council. And then within the council, there'll be a few like administrative roles to like run things. But that everyone in the council, all 12, would be equal. There'd be no change in weight. So you could have ties on things, but basically the way I think we could overcome that is if you had voting on topics instead of like the old school yay or nay, which is like very black and white and dualistic. Maybe council members could vote on like an approval or disapproval scale. So I am 100% for it, 80% for it, 60% for it, 40% for it, 20% for it, neutral, 20% against it, 40% against it, 60% against it, 80% against it, 100% against it. That gives you almost, I think, 10 different segmentations for your responses and your votes. It makes it far more difficult to end in a stalemate or a tie. All right. Third one, anti-toxicity measures, AI-driven chat filters, and player report systems I think are important. I'd want to promote those, paired with rewards for positive behavior, like exclusive emojis for helpful teammate badges or clan points for policing the chat, just so that it isn't a stick without the carrot. All right, last piece. We are just deep in this thing right now. Customer experience journey. Okay, onboarding, the new player experience, right? Interactive tutorials with adaptive difficulty have been shown to be working well, but avoid info dumps. Players could unlock a rookie rockstar, title or badge after completing the basics. This fosters early achievement, builds trust that the game will reward them fairly for their effort. It's got to start right away. The game, as you progress through the game, it's a building trust or losing trust. And those who have played Raid know what losing trust feels like. And Raid's done great things too, and built trust too. That's why people still play it. But they have done some boneheaded things, in my opinion, and others' opinions, to the player base. So I think that's where that Godforge Player Council comes out of. I don't see Fateless being the same way in any way, but I just think it's a good practice for gamers to organize themselves and to represent themselves on important issues that impact them in the game. I like this, prompts when, to help players realize when they're missing a game functionality they need to progress. Like, the game recognizes that you don't have any accuracy and you're not landing debuffs and you keep losing at this level. Like, it should prompt you, and Raid does this. I just don't think Raid does it well. But it should give you like a mini prompt, like, hey, take a look at your accuracy or something like that. I just think that would be a really cool thing for new players. Maybe it disappears after a certain level, which is fine. Number 2, mid-game engagement. Okay, in the mid-game, you need dynamic events, limited time boss raids, personalized challenges, things like defeat 50 enemies with your least used weapon, or something that is just, kind of forces you to do stuff you wouldn't do in the normal game loop. That helps retain interest. You want to identify the most valuable additions to a player's account, like be able to look at their account and give them an idea what would be the most valuable addition. Hell, Hades obviously has the optimizer, and that is a great tool. I think it's phenomenal. Hopefully we'll have something like that for Godforge, but it's hard to know. But account gap analysis is important. And if you're a clan leader and you could provide this in your clan, that you could provide, hey, we're going to take a look at your account and show you where there's gaps, show you where you can get, supercharge your results and not be frustrated as much. That's a responsibility, I think, of the Pantheons and the clans to train and onboard folks. So now, if you're a high-level clan, you're not going to be onboarding a brand new player, most likely, because they're not going to be able to get into your clan with how much, minimum account size you need to have. But anyways, you need to think about how do you attract, and then how do you onboard and retain, because you don't want to attract all the best clan members and then have them leave and tell everyone that they would never go back, because then you're going to have a very hard time filling your clan with anyone who you'd want to have on there. Okay, this mid-game engagement, you want to also increase the replay value, because there's a lot of farming, there's a lot of just grinding, and so you're always thinking about replay value. And I talked in an earlier video about saving and labeling teams for different content areas and how that's not done very well in Raid, but you can go check Optimized Gaming, my channel, and you'll see some of these other deep dive videos I've done, and go watch those. If you like them, always subscribe, set up your notifications so that you keep up to date on the evolving storylines, game mechanics, enhancements, equipment, special events and fusions, and more. So that's mid-game. Finally, end-game loyalty, right? I'm calling it the ABCDEs. It's an acronym because I'm a Marine and I don't think in anything but acronyms. So the acronym is adaptive, balanced, challenging, dynamic, and economically enticing, which means rare or valuable items. These are the things that are important, in my opinion, to endgame loyalty. Your game has to be adaptive. It has to be balanced. You have to have a balanced game economy and a balanced commodity economy. It has to be challenging, of course. I've seen, I think Big Papa Drock put out a video, or somebody, it might have been him, but just talking about the need to keep that challenge out there for you, because the big players, the whales and the krakens, they are going to get through certain areas so fast because of their spend and how much resources and character value they're going to have. And it's an interesting thing to kind of keep the carrot out there in front of them. So that gets into the dynamic nature of it, where maybe it's not linear. They don't just go forward and backward, because then the fastest way to get between 2 points is the straight line. So you can slow that down by making it not so straight, making it a crooked path. We have to go here and there and that. But you don't want it to be overly done so that people get frustrated and quit either. Lastly, economically enticing, right? There needs to be things that they want to spend money on. And so that's a big key piece for endgame. Legacy systems. This is a cool idea for endgame players. Let veteran players design NPCs, non-player characters, or lore entries, and this will immortalize their contributions in the game, and maybe they're credited for it in the game or some other public space, whatever. I think that's super cool. For endgame loyalty, subscription perks like cosmetic bundles and early beta access for loyal members, or alpha access, so what they're doing, and avoiding harsh and abusive pay-to-win mechanics. Obviously, we have heard that from so many folks on YouTube and Discord and Reddit about how they just they get angry about abusive pay to win mechanics. I don't see that being a problem in Godforge because of how in touch the Fateless team is with this issue. But that is your deep dive, folks. Let's come back up for air. Some of you, we need CPR. We need to get that water out of your lungs. But it's okay. It's good to go deep every once in a while. So that's wrapping up that. All right, so to wrap all this up, this was a lot, I know. But this is our final thoughts here. So to successfully market your clan or Pantheon, you have to have a healthy influx of new Pantheon members who are engaged, committed, and knowledgeable. And that can be the difference between setting the meta and learning about it on OG's videos. So a comprehensive strategy is crucial, okay? This includes identifying the target gamers and their preferences, creating engaging brand designs and clan logos, modifying clan settings to see how it impacts demand and retention, leveraging multi-channel marketing strategies such as social media, building a community around the game through a website or Discord server, or in other games and bringing them over. Like if you're playing in Raid and you already have a clan, that's a great place to start recruiting and bringing folks into the Godforge clan that you want. You already have relationships with them. That makes perfect sense. And implementing anti-toxicity measures to ensure a positive gaming environment. You also want to analyze market trends and make sure that you can differentiate your clan from competitors. If you've ever done a competitive analysis in a business plan, you would look at your competitors and how you differentiate from them. That's something that we can provide in this part. By following this strategy, Optimized Gaming, as you've seen in my branding personality, can effectively promote itself, knows who it is, can effectively promote itself and attract players who appreciate its innovative features and social impact, right? So if this deep dive using our branding and strategy session seems like it might be helpful in your gaming or business journey, just leave me a comment in the, below, and you'll be entered for a chance to win that free hour branding and strategy hyper session. We will tie you with the experts at workwish.ai, and they specialize in taking work off your hands, just like granting a wish. So we want to thank them, our sponsor, Workwish, for their continued support in making this content possible. If you want to rapidly identify how to build the top Pantheon marketing machine in your Godforge account right out of the gate, then this 1 hour will change your gaming trajectory. Lastly, we'll be putting out a video here in the future. I've decided I'm doing this. It's just a matter of when. This is a super early leak. That just shows you how probably impatient I am for it, but I'm gonna wait a little bit, but I'm gonna put it out here now. So I am going to be giving away my main account in Raid Shadow Legends and making the jump to Godforge. Now, when do I do that? Obviously, I need Godforge to play, but I've been waiting to quit Raid to go to Godforge. So I am going to be giving away my main account, endgame account. I can post some snips of my champions. I just picked up Fabian, and he's absolutely freaking nuts, and I think I got him with like 350 speed on him and 500 or 600 accuracy, so he just owns the arena. I have a Nice in my arena team too, which you can't beat Nice. He just flips over and says, yeah, you're never going to beat me. I leave him just so I never lose in the arena. Now, I'm not pushing Platinum, just to be honest. I just don't have the time and interest. I'm not pushing Platinum. I'm just floating in Gold 4, Gold 5, just farming. But still, Nice. You just don't lose. Awesome. I have the Calamitous 6-star Awakened. He is my nuker in the arena, and he's got about 7,000 attack on him, something like that. He smacks you like you stole something from him. So those are just a little highlights. I also have a Cardiel. That's probably one of my favorite players. I got him years ago. Like, he was like the biggest difference maker maybe on my account when I got a Cardiel. He was in every team. He still is in every team. I have a Lady Mikage. I have a Looper Fang. So funny enough, my first 2 mythicals were Looper Fang and Nice. And at that time, there was only like 11 mythicals, and those were the 2 worst. So obviously Looper Fang got a buff, and Nice is great in the arena. But back then I felt womp womp. But this is my main account. So how much patience will I have? How long before I give this away? I also started a 2025 free-to-play account in January, I think I started February 2nd. So that has the Mad Hatter, that has Alice, that has a bunch of other, I pulled Michi on my second Ancient Shard on that one. So I've got a number of Legos, probably about 8 to 10 Legos on that one. Crazy enough, I've been pretty lucky with it. So I'm going to be giving that one away as well. So stay tuned for those details. Like I said, subscribe to our channel and set your notifications so you don't miss anything. You don't miss any of these giveaways. But take care of yourself, and remember, play smarter.